think about this. Okay. Just a question. When you walk into your church and you're standing at the back and you're looking to the front,
Yeah.
what do you see central in the front of the church?
Well, yeah, I suppose if the pastor's on stage, the pulpit, the pastor, the teacher,
Pastor, the
whoever's
pulpit,
teaching,
the teacher,
yeah, the band,
and
perhaps, yeah,
perhaps the band, depending on the moment that you're there.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to see either a table or a preaching pulpit,
right,
to some degree, and a microphone stand maybe right there, right? Depending on, but if you go into say a Catholic, Orthodox, or Anglican church, what are you going to be looking at from the
altar?
You're going to be looking at the altar,
Yeah.
right? And if there's a place to speak, like this struck me when I was doing a lot of work with my Anglican priest friend back on the East Coast, is I would go in and we'd periodically attend his church. And when he would get up to give the homily, which is 10 or 15 minutes, he would have to walk up the steps to the side where there was a little stage and the microphone there, and he was off to the side, right? So you're supposed to be looking at the bloodless sacrifice, right?
Sure.
The altar, the presence of Jesus, and he's just the sideshow. He's not the main event.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying one is right or wrong, but those reflect our cultural values, right? What is our cultural value in evangelical Christianity? It's not so much the communion and the indwelling presence of God and the formation of that. It's the teaching and how the pastor forms and models Christianity to the people, and then that all those traditions carry great benefits, and I think and problematic interpretations too.
Yeah, it's two ways to get to similar places. One being emphasizing the partaking in the body of Christ. It's perhaps there's that thing of maybe in some ways a more literal communion with him in that regard, whereas one is maybe shaping and learning and becoming through knowledge.
We're ingesting the word through teaching,
yes.
Right? That's kind of the idea. Is
and
that
it's the living
pastor
word.
brings a word, right?
Yeah.
And that goes back to, one of my friend that keep reference, his name's Colin. He's a great priest out in Prince Edward Island. And I remember him asking me one time when we were talking about communion, and he goes, you evangelicals, you're so weird, and it's like, we'd have these great conversations, right? Like, I'm like, you Anglicans, you're so weird. You do this. And he'd be like, you guys are so weird. You do this. And he was talking about communion, and he goes, you guys think that it's just a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, but I bet you, if you stood in front of that and I told you, now throw it on the ground and stomp on it, you'd probably feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, that's a pretty good point. I think most people would be a little hesitant to do that. Same with the Bible, right?
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Silence? The one about
I haven't.
You got to go see. I mean, it's a tough watch. I think it's a Martin Scorsese movie, but it's about the missionaries going to Japan to.
Oh, I've heard of this. I haven't seen it though. I know what you're talking about.
I think it would be right up your alley. I think it's something you would enjoy. But it's
I'll have to watch that. Yeah.
The way that they got the priests to sort of show that they were renouncing their faith because they didn't allow them to practice, I guess, openly there, the missionaries. So they would have them. They kind of basically torture them until they stepped on an image of Jesus, like an icon of Jesus. And that was their way of renouncing, like they would step on the icon. And that sparked a discussion of, is that a renunciation of faith if it's just an object? Sure, would you stand on it? Does it mean anything if you put your foot on Jesus? Yet, I don't think anyone would want to do that. There would be a resistance internally.
It's honestly, it's a product of the Enlightenment. It really is. And because you ask someone 1,000 years ago, and they would not answer the same way that we would answer today. Right, because we've so separated out the distinction between matter and quote unquote,
what it represents,
Platonic philosophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What matter represents.